Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce the Wharton MBA Program for Executives 2015 graduating class, the inimitable and unstoppable Wemba 39s.
I did it now, right?
Good afternoon, MBA class of 2015, faculty, staff, alumni, and honored guests. My name is Peggy Bishop Lane, and I serve as the Vice Dean for the MBA program for executives. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the graduation celebration for the class of 2015, the 39th graduating class of the Wharton MBA program for executives. Our graduates today follow in the proud Wharton tradition of excellence, hard work, collaborative learning, and pushing boundaries. And let's not forget lack of sleep. The result is an experience that opened doors to new ways of thinking, new friendships, new business ventures, new parts of the world, and new and expanded families. Many of our alumni describe this experience as the best 2 years of their lives. And we know that these 2 years would not have been possible without the support of family, friends, and coworkers. So on behalf of the Wharton School and the graduates, thank you all for all of the extra chores you did so they could prepare for class, the nights you got up with the kids because they'd been studying, the work projects you spent time on so they could be here on the weekends, and for the listening. This commitment and sacrifice are no less worthy of acknowledgement and commendation than the awards we bestow upon our graduates today. While we award an MBA, Master of Business Administration, to our graduates, we bestow a Master of Understanding, or an MOU, upon each of their supporters. Many of you received your Master of Understanding from your graduate already. Today is as much a celebration for you. Tomorrow you get your husband, wife, partner, mom, dad, colleague back. And folks, there's a list of chores waiting at home. Graduates, could you stand and give your supporters a hearty round of applause? Thank you. The staff in the WEMBA office have also been an integral part in seeing the students through these 2 years, starting with Kathy Maloney and Diane Sharp in the admissions process, through Rhonda's cheerful hugs, and most importantly, Diane Harvey's wise counsel, crack of the whip, and clever British humor. How could you have done it without her? Class 39, give Miss Harvey a show of thanks. All right, there you go. Today is a day of celebrating what was, but also what is to be as a result of the hard work, new relationships, and sleepless nights. So without further ado, it's my privilege to introduce the Dean of the Wharton School, Geoffrey Garrett. Jeff joined Wharton as Dean about a year ago, coming to us from the University of New South Wales in Australia. His focus on our community was evident from the start, as even before formally being in the role, he attended a Wharton Global Alumni Forum in Beijing. He's been focused on the people for the last year, visiting our alumni around the world, meeting with our students, staff, and faculty. Jeff made it a point to have candid conversations with all of our WEMBA classes this past year on both coasts, and getting to know them has brought him a keen understanding of the sacrifices you made to be here. But you don't have to be on campus to hear from Jeff. His outreach to and about Wharton exemplifies how he walks the talk. He's a proponent of technology to enhance the educational mission, and you'll see him using technology to communicate his vision to us through his numerous LinkedIn posts and Twitter comments. And if you don't yet, you should follow him there. You can see his passion for the role Wharton and business education in general plays on the world stage, a theme of his from the start, which is not surprising given his academic background in political economy. Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Geoff Garrett.
Thank you very much, Peggy. Welcome. Welcome to my faculty colleagues on the stage. Welcome and thank you to the WEMBA staff and our events staff who are here. Welcome, thanks, friends, families, co-workers, colleagues of our graduates. Last but not least, welcome to the Wharton MBA class of 2015. We have one big thing in common. This is your first Wharton graduation weekend. It happens to be mine too. But unlike you, I hope it won't be my last Wharton graduation. You know, these are exciting times for business, and I think for business education. And as a macro person, the way I think about it is societal need is rising all the time, and government is struggling to keep up. I think the private sector is stepping up, and a place like Wharton can help that happen, from thinking about creative public-private partnerships for infrastructure in emerging markets to Wharton graduate Elon Musk's aspirations for private sector space travel. But in addition to being exciting times, I think these are also challenging times for business, because we all know after 2008, firms are doing more with less. Careers are being disrupted and downsized all around us. Esteemed careers, law and accounting and pathology and optometry, all being revolutionized by technology. And I think what we're learning is that where there's a premium on repeatability and reducing errors, machines can help us do better. But at the same time, there's a premium, a higher premium, on what machines can't do. And I think the two most important things there are creativity and judgment. And of course, that's the focus of your Wharton education. That's why you came here. We don't teach poetry for creativity or philosophy for judgment. Both are great, of course. What we do, I think, is to focus rigorously on analytics, which enhances judgment, and on innovation, which empowers creativity. But that's really enough about the world and about the world of business education. This is your day. This is a day to celebrate for us all. It's a day we will all long remember. And I think it's also a day for us to congratulate you on all you've achieved. And what an extraordinary class you are. You all know, I hope you all know, that our graduates have completed the most rigorous executive MBA in the world, and I take my hat off to you for that. I think I'm pretty good at things that are quantitative, but I can't do my high school daughter's math anymore. You had to go back and do it for yourselves. You had to go back and take the GMAT when more standardized tests were the last things on your mind. And in your classes, you had to eat a lot of spinach and even some Brussels sprouts. But you not only did it, you thrived in the process. And you thrived while balancing careers, families, very full lives, while doing the complete Wharton MBA in the same time as our students who don't work do. A 2-year MBA. That is simply extraordinary. But I think what really sets this class apart is what you've achieved beyond the classroom. Let me go through a few details. You created WAC, the WEMBA Advisory and Consultative Committee, to work with Peggy and her team to improve the WEMBA program. You have bridged the two coasts of Wharton, Philadelphia, and San Francisco more than any other WEMBA class that preceded you. 9 students from San Francisco came east to Philadelphia. 4 of you went west to study. But you've not only crossed the US, you're extraordinarily global. Everyone did the Global Business Week in 4 international locations, one of which, of course, was Silicon Valley, which just goes to prove that California is indeed another country. But you also went on global modular classes to Abu Dhabi, Brazil, China, England, India, Israel, Italy, Japan, Rwanda, South Africa, and Singapore. And not only did you go to the world, but some of you came from the rest of the world to study. Sharif commuted from Russia every other week for 2 weeks to complete his degree, and I know he brought some of his family with him to celebrate today, so welcome to you. In addition to the international, this is also a very social class. You are the first class to have an end of first year celebration party, impishly named Junior Prom. Why is it Junior Prom? Because just last week, or a few weeks ago, you had Senior Prom, and since you are the party class, you invited your colleagues from San Francisco to come and party with you. And then, of course, there's WEMBA Wine, which is not a student newspaper complaining about the program. WEMBA Wine, in fact, I'm told, is a lovely Syrah blend. Very impressive. And speaking of social, Mike Gibbons was talking a little Latin at a doctoral graduation we had earlier today. Let me throw a little Latin at you. Prima inter pares, first among equals, which translates these days to We Heart Kelly, Kelly McKee, the social cheerleader and organizer-in-chief for the class. So this is a very international class, it's a very social class, it's also a very entrepreneurial class. The first ever combined WEMBA team competed in the business plan competition, in Wharton's business plan competition, against full-time students who have nothing else to do. And you made it to the Great 8. Silver lining with the fantastic tagline, "It's what's inside that counts." Congratulations to Miriam Williams and Pav Dawaka for their contribution. And then, of course, there's Airport Sherpa, accepted into Wharton's Venture Initiation Program. Congratulate Patrick Delaval and Mayank Gandhi for that. What could be left after international, social, and entrepreneurial? I've got one new word for you. WEMBabies. There are a record 27 babies born to this class, and I gather we're still counting. Another 6 are on the way. So special congratulations to all the parents and to all the grandparents who are here today. You know, on occasions such as these, people like me are supposed to offer some words of wisdom to the graduates. That's not me, and it's certainly not me for a group like this. The fact that our graduates today not only committed to the WEMBA program, but have made it through with such flying colors is ample testament to your ability, your tenacity, and your vision. I have immense admiration for you, and I've got a lot to learn from you. But I'll use my last couple of minutes just to reflect on 3 things I try to think about on a daily basis in all facets of my life, and I hope they have some resonance for you. The first word is authentic. It's not only easiest to be yourself, you tend to be better at it than anything else. But being authentic can't be an excuse to do anything and everything. At the same time as we should all be authentic, I think we should also be self-aware. We need to understand how we are with other people, how we interact with them, how we affect them, and how they affect us. Relationships are the key to everything in life, and we all have to understand our contribution to them. But the last word for me is probably the most important one. Again, it's hyphenated. Self-reflective. My wife teaches a class at Penn called Being Human, and we all know it's not very easy. So in addition to being authentic and to being self-aware, I think we all need to be self-reflective. We need to reflect all the time on who we are, what's important to us, and what's important to society, and what our contribution to that is. It's only through self-reflection that we can learn to be better people, professionally as well as personally, every day. But enough of my words of wisdom. I know you did great things before you came here. We all know you did great things while you were here. I have no doubt you'll do great things after you leave. But please remember two things. First, your success really is our success. Business schools ultimately are measured by what their graduates do. And we've got incredible faith in you. But at the same time, remember that you are part of the best business school family in the world, the Wharton family, and you're part of that family forever. I congratulate you all. Let me now pivot for a second. It's a real pleasure and privilege for me to introduce David Pottruck to you now. Dave is a graduate of Penn as an undergraduate. He also has an MBA from Penn. He wrestled and played football in college, and he told me that he thought it was only possible to do 2 of 3 things. Be a great athlete, be a great friend, and be a great student. He says modestly he only did 2 of the 3. We know he did all 3. Of course, since then, Dave's contribution to the university has been extraordinary. He's a former member of the Penn Board of Trustees. He's a former overseer of the Wharton School. And if you go, I think, just over there, you will see not 1, but 2 gymnasiums with David Pottruck's name on them, and we thank him for that. But when I asked Dave if there was anything he wanted me to say about him to introduce him to you all, he only told me to say one thing. He is a very, very, very proud parent of not 1, not 2, but 3 Penn graduates. Of course, that's Dave at Penn. He's done a little bit beyond that. When he was CEO of Charles Schwab, he transformed the business from a $50 million business into a $5 billion business in 15 years. I think that's a 100x increase in the scale of the business. He's currently chairman of an innovative online education company called CorpU, which is headquartered just down there, I think, on the other side of the Schuylkill. And in addition to that, he's been teaching in the Wharton School Exec Ed and MBA for a decade, and he's a star and highly decorated teacher. we could have no greater friend at Penn or at the Wharton School than Dave Pottruck. I'd love to cede the podium to Dave now.
Whew. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for that introduction. It was very generous. Whew! What a great day to be here. All of you. Oh my God, there's such love in the room. It's amazing, amazing. All these smiling faces, all of these smiling faces. It couldn't be a better day. And I'm so impressed, of course we all are, by what you all have accomplished. I wanted to fit in today. I thought fitting in was important. I grew a beard to try to look 35. Is it working? Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, I join everyone in congratulating, of course, our graduates and their supporters who are here today. It's an amazing thing to be here with all of you, children, spouses, friends. But I'd like to turn to the question of the day. So imagine calling a friend and hearing on their answering machine the following. This is not an answering machine, it's a questioning machine. And the questions are, who are you and what do you want? Now, can go on to say, if you think those questions are trivial, just remember that most people go through life and never answer either one. Those are the central questions today, and perhaps for the rest of your lives. And after you have your celebration today and you take your photos in your graduation garb, you have to face the future. And you hopefully will face those questions and you will think about how you're going to answer them. Your company, your friends, your colleagues probably still think you're the person you were when you arrived here 2 years ago. And you know that you're not. You have been transformed. And while we use that term lightly, it means you've come into a new way of being, a new way of thinking, a new way of analyzing things, considering them carefully from many different perspectives. You're more prepared than ever to create a future you couldn't have even imagined 2 years ago. So what I'd like to offer today are not merely congratulations, but a few insights and a healthy challenge. Now, once you proudly update your LinkedIn profile and put in your Wharton MBA, they'll push out articles to you like, the 10 things you should now do with your Ivy League MBA. And it'll include many useful tips and very reasonable ideas. Now, I won't tell you to toss reasonable, but I can tell you now that reason is not always the best gauge, and it's never the only gauge. If Johann Gutenberg had stuck with reasonable, he wouldn't have launched his movable type printing press nearly 600 years ago. As a business decision, surely it was ludicrous. By most estimates, at least 96% of the population couldn't read. How would you go about inventing a book manufacturing system for 4% of the population? Fortunately, that's not how he saw it. A few hundred years after Gutenberg, two business partners developed this first patented automobile. It was against the law to drive a car in their country. There were no paved roads, no gas stations, and no one knew how to drive. And yet, they plowed ahead anyway. They invested heavily in the project. So, what to do? Without telling her husband, Bertha Benz set off in the car with two of her children for a 60-mile drive to her mother's. It was the first drive of any distance, of course. It generated enormous publicity and buzz for the Benz patented motor wagon number 3, and of course, the rest is history. In business today, there's the Google driverless car, the Tesla, new momentum in clean energy, all powered by the opportunity to improve and transform our world. These blossom not just from reasons, but from dreams and from inspiration. There comes a point at which reason has to find its rightful place, and sometimes that means we throw it out the window. You know this. You studied for a full-time MBA while having a full-time job, so you know this throwing reason out the window. So what's next? Who are you, and what do you want? What do you dream? What inspires you? These are particularly tough questions for those with big loans and a sense that economic success is the holy grail. In many ways, this boils down to the tension between opportunity and uncertainty. A challenge you will face throughout your careers. It's one we all face. What if it seems the world isn't ready for your idea? How do you decide if the opportunity you see is bigger, more valuable, more inspiring, and more compelling than the uncertainties it carries? What would Gutenberg or Ben say? Would they only look at the economics and the business case to provide inspiration and meaning? We can't ask Gutenberg and Benz, but it's reasonable to think that each of them dealt with the knowledge and the fear, the opportunity and the uncertainty, and then they plunged ahead with their dreams, even though their plans might not pan out. What do you see that you might fix, invent, disrupt, or change? What captures your energy and imagination? What are you willing to do to make the opportunity a success? In other words, what inspires you? This isn't just a question for new graduates. When I was CEO of Schwab, I had a fabulous leadership coach named Terry Pierce, and he drove me to face this question every day. He constantly reminded me that I can't possibly inspire others if I don't know what inspires me, and that inspiration must drive my commitment to endure whatever is necessary to achieve that goal. Many years ago, I had an experience that changed the path of my life. This particular experience happened here at Wharton, but not in the classroom. While I was studying for my Wharton MBA, I was the assistant Penn wrestling coach. At the annual national championships, I saw a guy who was just tearing up the field on his way to becoming an All-American. The fellow next to me was going nuts supporting this guy, and I said to him, "Boy, your guy is quite a wrestler." And he said to me, "Yeah, can you believe he had a losing season last year?" Well, I wanted to know how he turned that around, and soon I found out. He told me he just decided he wanted to be successful so badly. He wanted to be an All-American so badly that he didn't ramp up his training routine by 20% or 50%. He doubled it to a level of intensity he never could have imagined, and that's what led to his success. Well, I thought to myself, I've got a couple of Penn guys who have All-American potential. All I have to do is go back and get them to really ramp up their training routine, and great success will be theirs. Now, here's the truth. I couldn't get them to do it. No matter how much I tried to motivate, inspire, and convince them that they had this potential, they just didn't see it. I couldn't get them there, and they couldn't bring themselves to commit the level of energy necessary to train at the level required to achieve All-American status. And when I really looked at it, and I looked at myself in the mirror, I realized I had done the same thing. I hadn't believed in myself enough to take my training to that level of enormous intensity to achieve everything I could have achieved. Well, I decided I wasn't going to do this again. This experience opened up my eyes, and I decided that while I had made a huge mistake as an athlete, I wasn't going to do that in my career. I was going to not give up on the size of my hopes and dreams and let the uncertainty of the outcome cause me to limit my level of effort. But big dreams would require a big work ethic beyond anything in my previous experience, and that meant big dreams needed to come with big meaning. Now, I realize this specific athletic story may not resonate for everyone, but I hope the metaphor does. Meaning combined with belief in yourself is everything. Now, while I don't know you all individually, I've been teaching WEMBA East and West students for almost a decade. I know you've had an incredible educational experience to a point at a point in your careers where you're sufficiently experienced to take in all the lessons and then take action to lead and create change. You're ready for big things, important things. But to fully employ these talents, you have to pay attention to those principles, those questions I mentioned before. Who are you and what do you want? What inspires and energizes you? What gives you meaning? And what problem in the world needs you to solve it? You don't need to find the answers this instant. These are not easy questions. Talk it over with friends and family. Let it germinate in your brain and in your soul. With answers in hand and the 20-plus hours a week you just freed up, you can throw yourself with passion and energy at the challenges that inspire you. I left a great job at American Express and moved across the country with my family to take a job in a tiny company 1/10 the size that had been recently acquired. Why? Because the mission of this company inspired me. And I believed that it would translate into a bigger personal opportunity as well. My friends and coworkers at Amex thought I was nuts. I saw the potential to make a contribution that mattered, creating opportunity for people who had previously not had fair and economic access to investment markets. It was heady, it was exciting, and it was risky. And we succeeded beyond my dreams for almost 20 years. And then I failed. I failed big time. I let our adversity crush my inspiration and my leadership. In the aftermath, I thought my career was over. I was humiliated. I wanted to hide. I allowed the fervor of the moment to outstrip the pure intention of what made my life meaningful. Fame and growth and publicity are trappings that have a way of blinding all of us, and I was no exception. I'm forever thankful that Andy Grove, chairman of Intel, took me aside and said, "Dave, I appreciate why you're so down. But please know you're the same guy we were proud to have on our board of directors last week, and we're proud to have on our board of directors this week." Now, I'm not quoting him exactly, but he said something else, something like, "Come on, suck it up and move forward. You're not going to die. You still have some things to accomplish, and you will regain the footing that created your success." He was right. I had only lost perspective, but not ability. I share this to underscore that while the work is always hard, the possibilities, the rewards are always greater if we can maintain our belief in ourselves. And to remind us that failures are inevitable in life, they don't kill you. Instead, they set the stage for your next adventure. So, who are we and what do we want? What inspires us? What project and change can we devote our lives to that has meaning, not only financial reward, and why not shoot for both? If you can answer these questions, you will be among the very small percentage of people in the world that will change it. I'm confident that you will be among those few. The world is in your hands. Cradle it in the arms of your inspiration and deliver it to the next generation in shape for the next 100 years. We are all counting on you. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. It's a great thrill for me. Godspeed.
Thank you, Dave. That was great. Inspirational. Today is a time to celebrate and to think about the past 2 years, as I said earlier, perhaps the best 2 years of your life. In addition to the world-class education you received, you made some of your best friends, and some of you even met true loves. But for a moment, I'd like you to think about all of your classmates, all 115 of them. That's a lot of people to get to know. And as long as this program might have seemed, the WEMBA weekends are short. Sure, you got to know many people very well, and even outside of the weekends, you spent time with your learning team or the people in your area or on your train. But I bet there are a dozen or more people you wish you'd gotten to know better. Think about that elective class you were in when the person you haven't really spent so much time with raised his or her hand to make an incredibly insightful comment or brought up a deal or an idea that you had no idea of understanding or knowing they could be involved with. Or the people who suddenly took part in karaoke one Friday night, or stood up to speak at the Quaker dinner and said things you couldn't have just expected, and I'm talking about the students. And each time you thought something like, wow, I had no idea Sharath played the sax that well. While today feels like the culmination of your program, it's just the beginning. And that is an incredibly cliche thing to say in a graduation speech. But what I mean is that you have your whole lives to get to know these people more deeply, both the friends you've already made and the classmates you've missed out on. I'd like to share a story about a Class 37 graduate with you. I knew Class 37 pretty well. I taught them. They were second years when I came into the Vice Dean position, and they even gave me a teaching award, so I felt pretty close to them. But I surely didn't know all of them as well as I knew some, and not as well as I would have liked to. There was one woman in the class I didn't know very well at all. She was a pretty mediocre student in my class. In fact, I had to look that up for this speech. Most of what I knew about her was that she forgot her passport the day she was supposed to go on the international trip, and that she was a really stylish dresser. Otherwise, she was very quiet. In fact, I recall sitting awkwardly next to her during the alumni dinner at JG Domestic that year. Shortly after graduation, she sent me a Facebook friend request, to which, of course, I hit accept. Why not? So it turns out this woman is extremely active on Facebook. And wow, is she a serious person. She has very deep-seated beliefs around politics, human rights, religion, race relations. You name a taboo topic, and this woman is right out there. She is calling out her friends, her colleagues, her classmates on what they believe, making sure they're informed and consistent in what they say. To which I say to myself, really? This is the woman I could barely have a conversation with at JG Domestic? And I love this about her. I had no idea she was so thoughtful, that we agreed on so many things, and I really regret not knowing her better while she was here. But the good news is that I know her better now. 2 years after graduation, I know her better than she was when she was a student, which is amazing. She makes me think about big things, things outside of the day-to-day in my life. And I could never have guessed that she would have that effect on me back in May of 2013. Being at Penn, no graduation worth its salt is complete without a proper Benjamin Franklin quote. On the 37th Street walkway, there's a quote that's a very interesting way to walk and start your day. It says, "Lost time is never found again," which is true, but lost opportunities can be found again. You do, however, have to make the time, which you now have loads of. So what are you going to do with this time, in addition to what Dave challenged you to do? You've heard the phrase, take the call, but this is more than that. How do you not only keep in touch, but enhance your relationship? Make the strong ones stronger and the weak ones strong. Is that a good use of your time? I would argue yes. You've probably never before, nor will you ever again, be in the company of so many accomplished, smart, and caring people. These accomplished, smart people actually care about you and your well-being, even those who weren't in your learning team and didn't become your best friend. When our alums see each other, they smile automatically, hugs ensue. The great part about social media and today's technology is it's easier than ever to get the smile and the hugs from a distance. So in addition to keeping in touch with your best buddies and getting together in your hometown, remember to keep getting to know your other WEMBA classmates. They will open up in different ways outside of the program. You'll change your interests. You will all change the segment of the curve of life that you're on, and you can continue to learn about each other and with each other. Don't let that stop just because you're not traveling to Philadelphia every other weekend. So throwing in another Franklin quote, the doors of wisdom are never shut. Never stop learning, never stop searching, and never stop loving your WEMBA class. Speaking of people to love in your WEMBA class, now it's my pleasure to introduce your student graduation speaker, Christine Johnson. Christine started in the WEMBA program working as the global leader of digital marketing at DuPont in Wilmington, Delaware, where she was making the most of her bachelor's degree in creative advertising from Syracuse University. She leaves the WEMBA program as an associate at McKinsey & Company in Philadelphia, truly making the most of her time spent and knowledge gained in the program. Christine lives in Philadelphia with her husband, Stephen, and their chihuahua, Marco Polo. She's a runner, loves the Philly food scene, especially French restaurants, and says her favorite part of WEMBA were the inspiring faculty, supportive administration, and her Philly-based learning team, Use Guys. Well, there you go. What I loved about Christine's LinkedIn profile is that she is described as a champion for modern marketing practices. I'm not surprised, as I know Christine to be a champion of this program and her class. This is evident in her role as the class gift co-chair and the fact that she was an excellent welcome speaker to Class 40 last May. So I've heard her give a welcome, and now I'm thrilled to hear how she gives a send-off. Ladies and gentlemen, Christine Johnson.
There's a powerful African proverb that you may know. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. For me, this proverb stands out as the best summation of our last 2 years together. Remember the evening of May 25th, 2013. If you were like me, you were excited but anxious about studying at Wharton. You envisioned the next 2 years of endless periods of studying, late nights, the stressful juggling of home, work, and school. A long, lonely pursuit. So many of those visions were true. But this journey was anything but lonely. We have achieved more than we ever imagined, and we achieved it together. This togetherness is not just about camaraderie, but the growth that comes from respecting, challenging, pushing each other. I believe we have gone so far because we chose to go together. And as we leave, I try now to think of how do we move forward with this spirit of togetherness. I've concluded there are 3 ways we take this spirit with us when we graduate. We must honor the room, honor our communities, and we must honor our MBA. So honoring the room is the WEMBA way, a concept derived from our leadership course. It's being open-minded, respectful, appreciative of others in every situation, showing up with your best self. So I think we can all agree that life would be easier if we always had 4 to 5 WEMBAs at the ready to be on our team. WEMBAs know how to get things done and make sure everyone feels great about the result. We now have to take this spirit and show others the WEMBA way. Be known as the leader who isn't just looking out for your own achievements. Be a leader who honors all those with whom you work. Our families and communities need our support, just as we've needed theirs the last 2 years. And so now it's time to honor their journey and do everything we can to support them. We can use the skills we've learned at Wharton to help our families and our communities thrive. The Wharton community also needs our support. We can't just hang our diploma, update the LinkedIn profile, and walk away. We must earn the right to maintain our Wharton status by being active, conscientious alumni who are dedicated to Wharton's success. Finally, honor your MBA. A Wharton MBA is not just a rite of passage into the world of business. It's a way to create a better world. I am honored to be one of 115 classmates with diverse and inspiring goals aimed at improving not just our businesses, but the communities that we serve. We also honor the people who supported us these past 2 years. So, thank you, WEMBA administration and Wharton faculty, for taking this journey with us and for never making us feel like we were simply the 39th round to pass through the doors. You've taught us, challenged us, enriched our lives with your knowledge, experience, and guidance. You are what makes a Wharton MBA unlike any other in the world. Thanks to all the WEMBA children. Thanks for understanding that your mom and dad have homework too sometimes. Thank you, families, for filling in the spaces when we couldn't juggle it all. Thanks for understanding that family vacation when we studied for our first round of exams. Thank you, friends, for not writing us off. We know we've missed a lot the last 2 years, and we can't wait to spend more time with you. Thanks to our partners. Thanks for knowing just how much this degree and this community means to us. We hope we've made you feel a part of it. And thanks to you, the incredible WEMBA 39s. We did this together, and I am amazed at how far we have come. We leave Wharton knowing that by honoring our degree, our colleagues, our communities, we will be able to build successful businesses and a better world. And together, we are up to the task. We want to go far, and we will go together. Thank you.
Good afternoon. This year, we are presenting 2 student awards, and it's my privilege and pleasure to announce the first one, which is called the Benjamin Franklin Award. This year's winner is Salima Remtula. Salima. Congratulations. Let me read some praise about you. The class selected Salima not only because of her outstanding academic achievements, but also because of her commitment to the success of her classmates. During the past 2 years, Salima fostered teamwork, and was always there to lend a helping hand to her classmates. She showed by example the value of collaboration and cooperation in an academic environment. So again, please congratulate her. Okay, I'm equally happy to present the next award, the Dean Spirit Award, to Kelly McKee. Kelly was selected by her classmates because of her philanthropic involvement with the Class Gift Committee and for her leadership in her role as the class social chair. Kelly opened her heart and her hometown of Philadelphia to every member of WEMBA 39 class, organizing extracurricular activities that enabled them to form strong connections beyond the classroom. Kelly, thank you. Thank you. I know that because of both Salima and Kelly's efforts, the WEMBA 39 class will remain close for many years to come. So again, please join me in congratulating them.
Good afternoon, graduates. Good afternoon, families and friends. My name is Sam Lundquist. I'm the Vice Dean for External Affairs at the Wharton School. And my message today is fairly simple. It follows nicely all of the remarks that we've had today, which as you continue to honor the Wharton School through your engagement, through your activities, through your pride and your advocacy for the school, Wharton School stands next to you in making that possible through the various mechanisms that we have in place to facilitate that relationship. As of today, you're no longer Wharton students, you're Wharton alumni. You are members of an unparalleled group of 93,000 graduates worldwide in 153 countries. As students in the MBA for executive programs, you have invested a tremendous amount in your education. And your relationship with the Wharton School continues for the rest of your life. That's one reason you chose to attend. Do you remember how proud you felt the day you learned of your admission to the school? That was an important moment, a real turning point in your life. It remains a very big deal at graduation, and it will remain a very big deal for the rest of your life. Our goal is for you to carry that same level of Wharton pride with you today and long into the future. Really, when you think about it, Wharton is now part of your personal brand, which has fundamentally changed now that you hold a Wharton degree. We will continue to support you through a wide range of resources that include Wharton regional alumni clubs globally. There are 75 of them. You really literally have friends everywhere. We have lifelong learning programs which will continue to engage you intellectually in a way that will keep our curriculum relevant and current in your minds. It's delivered online, it's delivered in Philadelphia, and it's delivered in all of the regions around the world. I hope that you'll take advantage of these, remain involved, and remain connected to our remarkable alumni network. I think the most important thing I could say to you is to remember that this is all about interactions, not transactions. Your continued engagement with Wharton has already begun through the generosity that you've displayed in your class gift. This demonstrates the strength of your engagement with the Wharton School. Wharton cannot thrive without the generosity of its alumni to support the student experience. Of course, your experience was made possible by those who preceded you, and your class gift is helping your friends in WEMBA 40 complete their degree next year. There's wonderful symmetry to that. Your involvement is critical in helping the school maintain its prominence as a thought leader in global business education, and of course, also strengthening the Wharton brand. We are enormously grateful to you for your dedication to Wharton and your contributions to the class gift. So as we just heard, you honor Wharton by your participation. And I want to call out a special thanks because your class, as you know, did reach 100% participation in the class gift. With the additional support from an anonymous challenge donor, WEMBA 39s raised $189,945, a remarkable, remarkable total. After you achieved your participation goal, another challenge donor stepped up and added an additional $25,000 gift to support the WEMBA program. Running the class gift campaign requires hard work and dedicated leadership. We thank this year's class gift committee, all of you, for working tirelessly to achieve these goals. I'd like to now invite three of the committee members, Andrew Brown, Christine Johnson, and Kelly McKee, to present the class gift to Dean Garrett.
As you can hear from everyone that's spoken so far, no Wharton experience is complete without the great faculty and the support we get from our professors. To that end, we'd like to honor two of our core professors that are present here and two of our elected professors for all their help, their guidance, their support in getting us to this day, to this final journey. So I'd like to please call upon first Professor Nikolai Sigelko. He's not here. So, none of them are here. Oh. So, apparently, none of our professors are here today. But we will still remember them and thank them for all their support. So if you can all please give us a round of applause for all our faculty, core, non-core, that helped us get here. The two professors that we want to recognize for the core are Professor Nikolai Sigelko. He is absolutely famous in our class for cold calling. And I think all of us can attest to the fact that after that first class, we knew this was a wild ride. We knew what we were in for when we came to Wharton. The second professor that we recognize is Professor Christian Turvish for core. And he actually taught us OPIM in a way that he embodied OPIM. I have never been in a class where somebody knew how to end exactly on the right second. It would be the exact right second. He actually taught us also how to be factory workers a little bit in his class. He put us all in little teams, and we really learned what it was like and to really have small hands to do a lot of this work, which, you know, maybe is how it happens in China, I don't know. And the other two professors that we really want to recognize are from our electives. Professor Gordon Bodnar, he is our international corporate finance professor, my personal favorite. He has a tie for every occasion. So just to give you a sense of what it's like to actually be in our classrooms, these are the things we notice. It's the ties, the jokes, the comedy that we get from our professors who sometimes tend to be frustrated actors. But Professor Gordon Bodnar brought international corporate finance alive for all of us. And it is no surprise to me that he actually was, won that award, and he was one of the most highly rated professors that we had. And the other professor that we had is a very special professor in terms of, driving creativity and thought. I know earlier we had some reference to that, and we talked about that. This is for Professor Carl Ehrlich, and it's for a classroom that actually focuses on innovation. And for a business school like Wharton that's based in finance, that sometimes is based on diktats that are established, there's a formula for everything. It was great to be in a class where there's a formula for nothing. I know there was some exciting projects that came out of it. It includes a harpoon for your garbage. It includes a coffee pro stick. If you've got coffee on the go, you need pro stick to keep it warm, keep it heated. We had a great time with all these professors, and we can't thank them enough. It's too bad they weren't here with us today, but we thank them for helping us get here all the way. And again, a round of applause for all the Wharton professors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monisha. And all of those faculty that Monisha named send their regrets that they couldn't be here, and their great thanks for the honor. It's now my pleasure to recognize the students who have performed at the top of their class, beginning with those students who achieved graduation with honors. This award is given to those with a GPA in the top 20% of the class. When I call your name, please rise in your chair. Matthew Benchner, Daniel De Ojeda, Brian Favilla, Bakhtiar Faizi, Peter Gergen, Christopher Kellum, Praveen Kumar, Randy Lee, Pei Ying Lin, Paul Malloy, Gopal Mehta, James Merwald, Monique Rollins, Ian Rubin, Karim Sabu, Leo Swoboda, Ashby Taylor, and Robert Weisentowski. Thank you. You can be seated. Now, this last set of students not only earned graduation with honors, but also the designation of Palmer Scholar. This achievement is given to the students whose GPA is in the top 5% of the class. When I call your name, please rise, and you'll receive your award as you get your diploma. Sean Fallon, Alexander Hu, Van Coppersmith, Warren Petrovsky, Christopher Reardon, Salima Ramtula, and Monisha Sharma. Congratulations to everyone. And now, Wharton MBA class of 2015, line up for roll call and the awarding of diplomas. Uh-oh. We're making them do an extra walk since they got to sit in the front row. Manuel Arnott. Sun Young Bae. Mariam Alavi Betta. Matthew Benchner. CJ Bilangino. Megan Elizabeth Bacco. Gabriel Bossi. Joshua Brackett. Robert Allen Brooks. Andrew Brown. Patrick Byrne. Alan Cheklun Cheng. Robert Po Win Chung. Maurice Clifton. Omar Darwaza. Matthew Doherty. Brandon Day. Munish Dayal. Daniel De Oeda. Thomas William DeSwart. Flavia Francesca DeVinny. Christopher Duff DeCamps. John Patrick Delavalle. Adam Thomas Dubberly. Terrence Driscoll. Rami Bu Abdallah Edmondson. Bashir Adelege Elabor. Sean Fallon. Brian R. Favilla. Sarah Feinberg. Bakhtiar Faizi. Tiffany M. Fountain. Mark Fritz. Mayank Gandhi. Shan Gao. Inga Spivak Gardner. Peter Gergen. Adam Frederick Goers. Andrew Stansfeld Goldman. Raynell Deans Grace. Bradley Patrick Graw. Kent Griskevich.
All right, you nailed it.
Niranjan Haridas. Jordan David Helmberger. Roe Hevroni. Brian James Higgins. Benjamin Hirsch. Aubrey Ruby. Alexander Hu. Brian Jackson. William Nathaniel Jenkins III. Christine Johnson. Avi Judagir. Christopher Kellum. Aliyah Hyderova. Van Cleve Coppersmith. David Krugler. Praveen Kumar. Randy James Lee. James Lee. Pei-Ying Lao Lin. Bradley Stewart Line. Maithili Madeira. Paul Michael Malloy. Garima Mather. Michael S. Mayer. Kelly Ann McKee. Gopal Mehta. James Merwald III. Andrew Meyer. Nicola Marielle. Govin Mohan. Victor Morero. Mario Moreno. Satish Natarajan. Derek Nemeth. Jia Chen Ni. Ike Norum. John Pelusi. Robert William Pensick. Jeffrey Mark Peters. Warren Petrovsky. Suganda Chandna Pinto. Christopher Reardon. Salima Remtula. Gedalia Reisenberg. The first. Monique Yolanda Schumacher Rollins. Carolina Romero Roballo. Mark Roth. Ian Rubin. Shika Saraf. Kareem Sabu. Jonathan Terstappen Schnars. Prabhav Dwo Shah. Ais Sharayev. Monisha Sharma. Sridevi Singaraju. Sharath Somashekra. Mark Bernard Spector. Naveen Srinivasan. Subramanian Srinivasan. Kristen Stortz. Yuan Chuan. Leo Robert Swoboda. Ashby Taylor. Nita Thacker. David Trecker. Vijay Vachani. Sarah Vandermark. Jeremy Whitelock. Robert Matthew Weisentowski. Miriam B. Williams. Brian Winther. Kathleen Ann Wood. And Shawnee Zhang.
We have two more important traditions to share with you today. Graduates, to signify the transition from your student status to alumni, please move your tassels from the right to the left. Each year, Wharton MBA alumni who have demonstrated leadership within the Wharton community are extended an invitation to participate in commencement by carrying a flag that signifies their alumni status. One graduate is selected to serve as the alumni marshal, who will pass the 2015 alumni flag to a member of the graduating class. Of course, this year we are thrilled to have David Pottruck with us, member of the College of Arts and Sciences class of 1970 and Wharton MBA 1972, as today's keynote speaker and as our alumni marshal. In passing the 2015 alumni flag to Nate Jenkins, WEMBA 39, David is linking the Wharton alumni of yesterday with those of today. Welcome to the alumni community. Wave it around, okay? I will. Wave it around. There you go.
Congratulations, congratulations. Quite an accomplishment.
All right.
Welcome to the club.
Hey, going downstage.
Before we close, I have one short announcement. Please join us at the conclusion of the ceremony for a reception in the plaza of the Annenberg Center, outside the doors where the guests entered this afternoon. As we conclude today's ceremony in a long but rewarding 2 years, we are thankful for the blessings we've been given, thankful to be so fortunate to have the opportunity to be around this outstanding community, to be given the luxury to learn, the wherewithal to attend this esteemed institution, and the intellectual ability and fortitude to succeed here and use the knowledge we've gained to better our communities. Let's give our graduates, the Wharton MBA Program for Executives Class of 2015, or WEMBA 39, one more round of applause.